Uh, First, let's see. I know my first repair, I did an aerator valve repair that this was like the first plumbing I was ever doing on my own. And now, if you ask me now, I could go out there and probably in 15 minutes just boop, 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 no problem, get it painted, look professional, and just be done. But I think it took me an hour and a half or 2 hours because I was so nervous. I was like, oh, does it go this way? Does it go this way? But just learning now all the tips, tricks, and how the plumbing works and how everything flows in, it's just so much easier now. And then I would say with anything, if especially if somebody is new in the business or trying to learn that aspect of the business, that have somebody out there that knows what they're doing the first couple of times. So that's the guy who trained me when I sold the very first piece of equipment I sold was a filter. The guy's sand filter was just old and terrible. And I basically gave it to him just a little bit above like my cost. I wanted to make a little bit of money, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And so I had my guy come out and he was there with me and we basically did it together. And I think he helped me out with one or two more installs from there until I got really the hang of it.
Okay. Okay. And how about your first acid wash?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Acid washes can be temperamental and depending on the finish and stuff that you have. I wouldn't recommend somebody that's never done an acid wash to go out and try to do an acid wash on their own. Um, and especially there's certain ways you got to communicate that verbiage to customers as well, because a lot of customers get apprehensive of doing an acid wash because they worry it's going to wreck their pool. And if you do it wrong, it can. But same thing. I went out with the guy who taught me. I just went out with his acid washes. I just said, "Hey, just let me know when you're getting an acid wash. I'd love to come join." And he said, "Sure." So three or four. I think on the third one, he basically I went there. I watched him for the first couple times, and then the third time, I went and did it while he was watching me, and he could critique me and then I was good to go from there. But then the first one, it was kind of a bummer. The very first one I did was a pebble sheen, which requires very little acid, and I probably used a little bit too much. Pool still came out fine, and it looks good. But yeah, that was my first one was very nerve-wracking on my own.
And how does an acid wash work?
There's different ways people do it. Basically, some people get a like an acid, like a weed sprayer almost, where you pump up the tank and it comes pressurized and they go around and spray the walls. But for me, what I do is I get all the walls wet because if they're dry, the acid can streak on the walls and create this weird darkening color. So I get all the walls wet. I do a pre-wash of the pool, get all the dirt out, and then I get a like a 2 gallon canteen, like a flower watering pot, and I start off with about a third of a gallon of acid, fill the rest with water, and then I start going in and coating the walls around the pool. And depending on how much like either calcium, how old the pebble tech, there's a lot of variables that come up. Sometimes when you go to do an acid wash, you get a lot of bubbling soon as it touches the pebble tech. It just bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. And it starts to strip a little thin layer off the pebble tech and strip some of the color off of the pebble tech as well. So you go around the pool, you got to do a whole even coat. You do it in sections and you got to be very methodical. So I'll go through a whole 2 gallon container, which will typically cover about a quarter of the pool. Then you go back and you wash down that section. And then you got to remember where you left off because if you start a little bit before or a little bit after where you left off, the colors won't match up quite right because it does when you do an acid wash mainly on a newer pool, it does really deepen the color of where the acid hits, and not so much on older Pebble Tech. Older Pebble Tech doesn't really seem to change or do much at all.
And what's the point of an acid wash?
Acid wash helps alleviate stains in the pool, helps eliminate calcium that's built up on the finish. And one of the main chemicals when we're balancing the water is CY